Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the planning board meeting of March 2024. Could you please rise and face the flag for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag, the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. First thing I want to start with is the approval of the minutes. We have it from January because we postponed it last month. So we have January's minutes, and we'd just like somebody to accept the minutes as read.
Make a motion to accept the minutes?
Yeah, make a
January.
motion.
Second?
Who's going to second it?
I'll second. Go ahead.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And we'll make a motion to accept the minutes for February 8th of 2024. Anybody like to make that motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. I guess that. All right, first on the list is Rocky Ridge.
Good evening. Jamie LaJudas from Inside Engineering, Surveying and Landscape Architecture, here on behalf of Rocky's Ridge. We are here for the extension of the approvals. The board granted approval a little bit ago. We have continued construction, and he's currently looking for his building permit. He's hoping to submit that next week, so his bonds and everything are in place. And we're looking for the extension of the approval of the site plan, special permit, erosion control, wetland permit, steep slopes. Anything else you want to grant at the same time? So we're looking for those tonight.
Okay.
Good evening, folks. John Andrews, engineer to the planning board. As you may recall, Bruce Barber had prepared a resolution, and as Jamie says, this project was approved in May 11th of 2023. They did make a timely request for extension, and in that case, the extension is for site plan, steep slope and stormwater management permit, wetland permit, and a special use permit for Rocky's Ridge. There is a resolution in front of you, and I will just read the be it resolved clauses. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town of Kent Planning Board renews the conditional site plan approval, steep slope and erosion control permit, wetland permit, and special use permit approval for 2 additional 90-day periods commencing on May 11th, 2024, which will expire on November 7th of 2024. Be it further resolved that the second 90-day extension is conditional upon the applicant providing adequate reason to the planning board why construction has not commenced prior to the expiration of that first 90-day period. And be it further resolved that the waivers, terms, and conditions of the approval dated May 11th, 2023 are incorporated herein by reference and remain in full force and effect unless modified herein. And then finally, be it further resolved that it is the responsibility of the, it should read applicant, and project sponsor to obtain the required approvals or submit to the town planning board proof that each of the conditions of the site plan approval, steep slope and erosion control permit, wetland permit, and special use permit have been completed, and the signature of the planning board chairman shall be withheld pending receipt of a written memorandum from the planning board's engineering consultant verifying that each of the conditions of that approval have been completed. The final drawing shall not be accepted by the planning board without submission of proof of completion. You would need a motion, a second, and then a roll call vote.
Okay. Who would like to make a motion to accept the resolution as stated for the 290-day time extension with coming back after the first 90 days to obtain the second 90 day? Who would like to make that motion?
I'll make that motion.
Who would like to second it?
Second.
And
Roll call.
roll call vote. Jean?
Yes.
Aye.
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 And it's passed.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay, I guess you're staying up for the next one?
Uh-huh.
Patterson Crossing.
Hello.
So similarly to the recent application we just heard, we are back for the ahead of the second 90-day extension. Mr. Camarda unfortunately could not be present tonight as he's with his wife receiving some significant medical treatments. But they are currently looking and discussing with contractors to finalize construction costs, and they're still trying to break ground as soon as possible. So that's our update.
Okay.
So as a consequence, so long as the board finds there's no impediment, this second 90-day extension just takes effect. The only reason it would not is if you decided to elect and make a motion to deny that second based on the evidence submitted. I would suggest it's probably appropriate that just be allowed to go.
Okay. Anybody have any?
So there's no action required on this.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a
All
nice
right,
day.
Jamie. Have a good
You
night.
too. All right, the Chanyan Monastery.
I think you all know George Carlo. He is the representative of the monastery. As we discussed at the workshop, I do have a memo. Bruce did have some issues. We're waiting for a response from their engineer. I believe he was ill. Correct. And he may be back, when he's back to work, so we need to. But in terms of what was needed, when Bruce and I did a field visit, we found they needed a wetland permit. This gentleman has filed for the wetland permit. We have all the appropriate paperwork. Substantively, most of the issues are dotting i's and crossing t's. So it is our Bruce's and my joint recommendation is that the planning board schedule a public hearing for the next available meeting, which would be 4/11/2024. There is sufficient information in the record to allow the public to reasonably comment on this. So even though there's a lot of i's to dot and t's to cross, might as well hold a public hearing if there's anything else. Hopefully their engineer is well enough and then can wrap everything up all at once.
Okay.
So it would just be a simple oral resolution to schedule the public hearing on April 11th.
Okay, so who would like to make the motion to schedule a public hearing for the Chanyan Monastery on April 11th, 24?
I'll make such motion.
Who would like to second it?
I'll second it.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Set? All right. And you can get your engineer.
I spoke to him yesterday, so he's starting to get back.
Okay.
He's almost there.
Okay, good. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Now we're on to Kent's Self-Storage, Part 2.
Good evening. Since the last time we were before the board, we submitted an updated plan addressing the comments from John Andrews. We received a comment letter from John Andrews and Bruce Barber, with what we believe to be minimal comments. Three of the main comments are looking for approvals from outside agencies, which we're in the process of. That's renewing the DOT approval, the Health Department approval, and the NOI for the DEC stormwater permit. Otherwise, the comments that are open are minimal. We had planned to address some of those in this last round, but we were waiting for a report from Tim Miller Associates regarding an inventory they did on the trees on the site to determine whether there's any bat habitat I just received that late breaking before I came here tonight, and I will report that they found that there is no habitat on site that would be apt to be a roosting place for the bats. So we'll be submitting that in addition to responses to the last memo. And, you know, we would like to ask if you could schedule a public hearing for the next meeting. And if that, in fact, you decide to do that, we would also ask that you could direct the staff to have a resolution for that meeting also.
Good evening. To echo what Mr. Rena indicated, there is a comment memo issued by myself, and there is a comment memo from Bruce. As he indicated, most of my comments deal with updating and obtaining new approvals from outside agencies. Other than that, I think the issues that you folks wanted to look at, the tank and the landscaping around the tank, have been addressed in this. So here again, it would be Bruce's recommendation and mine that you schedule a public hearing at your next available meeting, April 11th, and allow this to advance. I take no position on preparing a resolution. We'd be pleased to do that if that's your inclination, but I never like to forecast what the public's going to do. So I defer to you, but certainly as we get closer at the workshop, if we need to talk about this, we can. But
Okay.
our recommendation is schedule a public hearing.
Okay, so who would like to make the motion to schedule a public hearing for April 11th, 24 for Kent Self-Storage?
I'll make that motion.
Who would like to second it?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Okay, we're good there. So, okay, Morocho property.
I think Morocho is off the agenda. I think the applicant's engineer submitted a request to be pulled from the agenda. That was Andy Chung, Vera? Yeah. He has to be off, so my notes indicate there is no need to discuss anything. We have nothing new.
Okay.
And he knows what he's got to do, and he's in the process of trying to resolve it. And
All right.
again, that's dependent upon outside agencies. I think he's got some DEP and health department issues he's got to resolve first.
Okay. And I believe AJ First Realty, the sign.
AJ First Realty, that's a simple return of escrow. I believe Vera has all bills in and accounted for, and I think she prepared a brief resolution, but basically what you need to do is recommend return of their escrow to the town board, so that the town board can act and return their escrow.
Okay. And do we know how much that is? No.
You can hold off on that if you want, because he came in this week, Bill had given the stop work order, because they stumped a lot of the trees on the property, and now they have to get an erosion control permit from us.
Oh, okay, then we will, we'll hold off on that.
That's fine.
Where is it?
Talk about stretching.
He had to ask them to do it.
Okay,
He asked.
so I guess we'll hold off to that till next month.
Yeah.
And I think we're below the line now.
Want to go below the line?
Go below the line?
Hudson Valley Aikido, as you may recall at the workshop, we had a discussion on this particular topic. They have made a submittal. It will be on the April agenda for comments. Torres property, Ruapoli property, and Gypsy Trail, all three of those, they have received comments from us, and we're waiting for responses to those comments. Guy Lazaka Mayette, 24 Soul Drive. At the time of the workshop, Mr. Walters and I met with the owner. I think he's got a clear picture of what needs to be done. He indicated to us that he had hired Paul Lynch. I have not heard from Mr. Lynch. Mr. Walters has not either. So between the two of us, I suggested I'm going to reach out to Paul and see if we can't stir the pot and get a submittal. The next two, Nichols Road and Route 52 development. They were in the hands of the attorney. As you may have seen, Vanderwater and Vanderwater has appointed a new attorney since both Megan and Jeff Battistoni left. That new attorney is a gentleman by the name of Joe Arioli. We had discussed inviting Mr. Arioli to attend the next workshop session so that he can speak with you in an attorney-client privilege format to review the open issues and to give you folks a chance to meet him as your new legal counsel. So I've been asked to, Mr. Ferrone is going to do that, and Bruce and I are going to talk to him during the consultant Zoom call to bring him up to speed on some of the issues. And then DEP Seven Hills, as far as I know, that resides in the hands of DEP, and they have fallen off the face of the earth, which is highly unusual for DEP.
Yeah, I know.
So I don't know, Vera, whether it's worthwhile, if you could send them a little tickler?
Yeah, I'll do that again.
Okay,
I have a number too, if somebody that works there on call.
okay. And that seems to be it, folks.
Okay. Anybody else, comments? No. Okay, and who would like to make a motion to close the meeting?
I make a motion to close the meeting.
And who'd like to second that?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, everybody.